everybody. I am wanting to comment on a post that I saw tonight on Facebook that received, well, right now it's currently at 99 comments, and it's got 35 likes. So I think this is the longest thread I have seen on Facebook, and the question is geared to Christians, and it's asking Christians, at what point on your wall do you delete posts from others? And I think it's a good question because I think we've all had our situations, and we all seem to draw the line in different places, or so I've noticed. Some of the comments, to a Christian audience, they were at two different extremes. You had some people on there that were saying things that sounded a lot like this. I'm going to delete stuff that doesn't bring glory to God. If it's offensive to Him, it's not pleasing to Him, it doesn't agree with the Word, or if I don't feel it's appropriate, or if I don't feel led by the Spirit, to have these things on, I'm going to delete it. And lots of talk about God's kingdom and building it up and edifying people and being profitable and promoting godly things. And so, as I was going through reading those posts, it really troubled me. And I made it a point to say, hey, the Apostle Paul, he would say, get over yourself. Have you forgotten where you came from? And I think that's something I have wanted to say to a few people on Facebook before, but I've held my tongue. And I don't want to call anybody out personally, but I do see a lot of this going on, and frankly, it's a religious spirit. I really don't care what scriptures you want to tack on to it. We go back and forth with scriptures all day. The bottom line is that when you're censoring people, you're controlling them, and you're cutting off the free flow of the Spirit. And yeah, sure, I understand some ugly things are going to come out of that. You're going to get some sin, but it gives you the opportunity to pray for people, to encourage them, to show some humility and say, hey, you know what, I've been there. I went through that. Let me show you what I've learned or how I got through this, rather than to start, hammering them and ultimately deleting them because your wall is not sanitized. There's one lady on here said, I've deleted someone without telling them I was going to. I hate that. Just tell a person. Just deal with them, Just tell them. And she says, I watched their conversations for a while and just was not comfortable with the subjects and language. I think the Spirit leads you. This person claimed to be a Christian, but by the language and subject matter, it was hard to see. And so when I saw that, it really troubled me. I mean, you want to talk about where the Spirit leads you. It's grieving my spirit to hear this because, honestly, you have likely been at that same place that person was at. I mean, has your language always been good? Have this, in your entire life, you've never been on a bad subject. You've never had a dumb moment or gone through an embarrassing phase of life. You just wish you could press the, delete button on that. It doesn't happen. But we're all human. These things happen. We can't, as Christians, have the grace to see people through their human moments. I don't know. Apparently some people can't. So there were comments about why not to delete people. And people were saying, hey, you don't know when God's using you. And that's, I think, a great point as to why you remain open. And someone said, look, if you're going to be deleting people's posts, why are you even on here? I totally agree. Another one said, there are people on here who have ministries unknowingly to themselves. You could be helping someone as well as be a stumbling block for someone. And another one says, I find that deleting comments makes people think you are too high on your horse and too proud of a Christian. They sometimes feel that you think you are too good for them. That is so right on. I mean, I know some people on here that have no reason to be high on a horse, but they are. They don't comment. I'm not necessarily talking about Christians, but they don't participate in a dialogue, and it does come across as a very aloofness, an arrogance. And then I've had other people who you would think have reason to be, maybe you could understand why they might think of themselves as, above other people, because they do have a very high position on their jobs, but they actually do dialogue with people, and you're like, wow, you're really wowed by them. These are dynamic personalities, in my opinion. But to get back to what I'm saying about the Christians, if you only connect with other Christians, you're just preaching to the choir. If people are not able to disagree with you, what are you saying? And I know some Christians on here that there are certain words you can't use around them. And if you do use those words, they are going to go off the handle. I mean, really, is giving words too much power. And so, I've said enough, but I wish that we as Christians would just stop all this, trying to sanitize ourselves, trying to sanitize others. I wish that we would get to a more humble place, get to a place where we acknowledge that we're growing, other people are growing, and together we're growing together, and we're humans, we make mistakes, and that's okay. Thank you.